Hi everyone, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be looking at the Spaced Out DLC for Oxygen Not Included, including what it adds to the game and my thoughts on whether it's worth getting. Now, Spaced Out was the first DLC for Oxygen Not Included, and as of this time of writing, is the only major DLC. What I mean by that is that it is more than just a content pack, and adds new mechanics and reworks some existing ones, particularly Rocketry and Research. Because of this, Spaced Out can be thought of as a separate game version from the base game, and when you start a new save game in Spaced Out, it cannot be continued in the base game and vice versa. This is unlike the newer content pack DLCs Clay announced in 2024, which will be compatible with both versions. So let's take a close look at what Spaced Out adds and changes, and the first thing to touch on is radiation. This is a brand new mechanic with its own overlay, where radiation sources give off radiation. These sources include space itself, wheezeworts, shine bugs, nuclear reactors, and nuclear materials. And the radiation itself is hazardous to dupes. So there are now lead suits to reduce the absorbed dose, and rad pills to remove absorbed rads. Radiation is used to make Radbolts, which then charge up some useful machines. These are the new Diamond Press building, a Radbolt rocket engine and interplanetary launcher, and the Materials Study Terminal. Plus, this Materials Study Terminal brings a brand new type of research into the game, and now there are 4 major types versus the 2.5 in the base game. From the middle of the tree, you'll now need to complete the yellow Applied Science research in the Radbolt powered Materials Study Terminal, as I just mentioned. Then the 4th type is Data Analysis research, done with databanks in the Virtual Planetarium, which does exist in the base game, but are more widely used here. The way to get databanks is still from space, but Rocketry has been hugely reworked and is probably the single biggest change. In the base game, Rocketry is about building the rocket components and then sending them off to bring back useful things. But on doing this, both the dupes and rockets simply disappear from existence during the trip and then reappear afterwards. Spaced Out changes this massively, and the star map is no longer a linear set of points of interest, but is instead a 2D hexagonal map where you can move rockets about freely. There's also more than one planetoid here, so unlike the base game, which is played on the one map, you can now explore and build bases on multiple planetoids. And to do this, Rocketry has been massively changed too. Now unlocked much earlier in the tech tree, making them accessible in the mid-game, there is a lot more choice of modules, including simpler engines such as the carbon dioxide engine. Rockets also now have proper crew modules, and these small spaces must be built in to house your astronauts as they travel the cosmos, meaning you have to meet all their normal needs. These are highly customizable and bring a new challenging element of design to the game. On the planetoids themselves, you'll also find new things. Spaced Out adds a new 3rd starting biome, the Swamp Start. This is characterized by polluted water and new elements of mud, polluted mud and cobalt ore. You also have some new buildings to work with this start, including the mud press and sublimation station, which makes polluted oxygen for your dupes from polluted dirt. Here you'll also find new critters and plants, with plug slugs and their smog and sponge slug morphs that make power at night. Swamp chards are the muck root of this start, and bog buckets provide early food. Another new biome is the Radioactive biome, featuring very cold temperatures, uranium ore, and a new beta critters that can refine it. Plus, there's the Wasteland biomes, featuring the new divergent critters of Sweetles and Grubs. These critters can rub plants to make them grow quicker, especially the new grub fruit plant that changes from spindly to normal if rubbed. Sweetles make sucrose, a new element that can be used in food production or rockets. And these plants and critters eat sulfur. Sulfur is in the base game too, but there it can only be made by condensing sour gas and has no uses. Of course you can still do that in the Spaced Out DLC, but there is a new renewable source too in sulfur geysers. And Spaced Out adds other new geysers in the Cobalt and Aluminium volcanoes, as well as the Niobium volcano. Niobium, the metal that makes the space material thermium, is no longer found at a space point of interest, and must be gotten from a hot outer planetoid. And the other space materials have changed too. Isoresin is now made from resin, which is given out by a carnivorous tree that has to be fed dupe food. And fullerene can now be made from graphite, if dug up from the water planetoid. So that's all of the major changes, but of course there are a number of other smaller changes I haven't touched on to try and keep this video relatively short. With all this, a common question is the Spaced Out DLC worth getting? With the normal disclaimer that it depends on your particular circumstances, I would generally say yes, it's very much worth getting. At $12.99 it is on the more expensive side, but does add a lot of content and can be frequently found on sale for 25% off. But I would say that if you haven't played the base game and are wondering whether to get both the base game and the DLCs, I would advise to just get the base game first. Oxygen Not Included is an amazing game, but it doesn't fit everyone, and the base game already has a lot for you to enjoy. Once you feel you've explored a lot of the base game and really enjoy it, you can then find some extra content and challenge with this DLC pack. And my expectation currently is that it will remain the most significant DLC pack for the foreseeable future. Personally, once I played Spaced Out, I haven't really gone back to the base game since you simply get more content with it turned on. So that's it for this video. I hope this has helped you understand what the Spaced Out DLC is and that you enjoy playing it, and thanks for watching.